After Christmas dinner, I discovered my family used my credit card for all their gifts. I confronted Dad, but he screamed, "We voted, you're single and don't have kids, so you should pay," he laughed. Until the next day. I'm Alaric Moore, the reliable one, the quiet success story in my family. The son who never caused trouble, never asked for help, never complained. I was the one they pointed to when they needed reassurance that at least one child was doing fine. Single, no kids, steady income, always calm, always available, always generous. Or so they thought. Christmas was hosted at my place that year, a decision I regretted long before the tree lights dimmed. My parents, Graham and Maribel, arrived early with my siblings, Thorn and Eloan, filling my living room with noise, laughter, subtle judgments, and unspoken entitlement. They praised my apartment, my furniture, my quiet life, making jokes about how easy things must be for me without a wife or children. I smiled, poured drinks, played the role I'd perfected for years, unaware that the betrayal had already started days before. It was the morning after Christmas that everything cracked. I was cleaning up wrapping paper, empty cups, half-eaten desserts, when my phone buzzed with a bank notification. Then another. Then another. Charges from department stores, toy shops, electronics outlets, luxury boutiques, grocery chains, online retailers. I opened my banking app, my chest tightening as I scrolled. Thousands of dollars gone. Not one transaction authorized by me. All time-stamped in the days leading up to Christmas. At first I thought it was fraud, some stranger, some hacker, until I noticed the locations. The stores my family had excitedly mentioned. The gadgets I'd seen under the tree. The designer bag my sister had flaunted. My hands shook as I pulled up my credit card history. The card I kept locked away, except for one detail I couldn't ignore. I'd once shared it with my parents for emergencies, trusting them in a way I didn't trust anyone else. When I confronted them in the kitchen, the air shifted instantly. My mother avoided my eyes, my father sighed like I was being dramatic. My siblings exchanged looks that said everything. Thorn laughed nervously and said it wasn't a big deal. Eloan shrugged and added that I could afford it, that I was doing well, that I didn't have responsibilities like they did. My father actually said, "You're single, Alaric, no kids, no mortgage stress. It's Christmas, family helps family." Something in me went quiet after that. I didn't yell, I didn't argue, I didn't beg for understanding. I simply picked up my coat, told them I was done hosting, and walked out of my own home while they sat there surrounded by gifts I had unknowingly paid for. The drive that night felt endless, my phone lighting up with messages that alternated between guilt-tripping, minimizing, and fake concern. I didn't answer any of them. The next morning, I did something I'd never done before. I chose myself. I itemized every single charge, every store, every amount, compiled screenshots, receipts, timestamps, then sent my family a detailed invoice labeled unauthorized holiday expenses. I followed it with a calm message stating I had filed a dispute with my credit card company, cancelled Christmas at my place indefinitely, revoked access to my shared family photo album, and would not be engaging in further discussion. That's when the chaos started. Calls poured in, texts flooded my phone, my mother cried, my siblings accused me of ruining the family. My father demanded I stop embarrassing them. They said I was overreacting, that money wasn't everything, that family forgiveness mattered more. So I did something that terrified me and freed me at the same time. I made a public post. No names, no insults, just facts. About boundaries, financial abuse, entitlement, how being single doesn't make you communal property. The reactions were immediate. Extended relatives reached out. Friends shared their own stories. Strangers supported me in ways my family never had. My parents went silent. My siblings turned cold. And for the first time in my life, I didn't chase after their approval. Weeks later, the bank ruled in my favor. Every charge was reversed. Every dollar returned. The relief was physical, like breathing after being underwater too long. Not long after, a small package arrived at my door. Inside was a modest gift and a handwritten note from my father. He apologized, not dramatically, not perfectly, but honestly. He admitted he'd crossed a line, admitted he'd taken me for granted, admitted he'd forgotten that I was a son, not a safety net. I didn't respond right away. Peace came quietly after that, in the absence of noise, in the stillness of my apartment, in the realization that I didn't need to earn my place in my own family. I wasn't selfish for setting boundaries. I wasn't cruel for protecting myself. I wasn't less worthy because I chose a different life path. That Christmas taught me something they never could. Love without respect is just control. Generosity without consent is theft. And sometimes walking away is the only way to finally stand tall. The money coming back didn't magically fix everything. If anything, it exposed how fragile my place in the family had always been. The silence that followed was heavier than the arguments. No more group chats. No more casual check-ins. Birthdays passed without calls. It was like I'd gone from being useful to being invisible overnight. Then the stories started circulating. A cousin hinted online that I was greedy. An aunt suggested I had embarrassed my parents on purpose. Someone claimed I had exaggerated the amount, that I was trying to paint myself as a victim. I realized then that I wasn't just fighting about money. I was fighting a narrative they'd controlled my entire life. The obedient son, the quiet provider, the one who never said no. A month later, my mother showed up at my door unannounced. She looked smaller somehow, tired, her confidence replaced with unease. She didn't come in right away. She stood there holding her purse like a shield, asking if we could talk. She admitted that the card wasn't only used for gifts. Some of it had gone toward covering debts she never told me about. Credit balances. Late payments. Financial decisions made quietly, assuming I'd never check. That was the moment that hurt the most. Not the spending. The assumption. The certainty that my boundaries didn't exist because I'd never enforced them before. She said she didn't think I'd mind. That sentence echoed in my head long after she left. I told her something I'd never said out loud before. That being single didn't mean being disposable. That having no children didn't mean having no future. That my life wasn't a waiting room for other people's needs. She cried. I didn't stop her. For once, I didn't rush to comfort someone who had hurt me. My siblings tried again later, softer this time. Apologies wrapped in excuses. They wanted things to go back to normal. I told them normal was the problem. I told them trust doesn't reset just because time passes. It rebuilds slowly, or not at all. That conversation changed everything. I stopped over-explaining myself. I stopped justifying my choices. I stopped showing up out of obligation. The distance felt wrong at first, then it felt necessary, then it felt peaceful. Months later, I spent Christmas alone for the first time. No drama. No tension. No walking on eggshells. Just quiet music, a simple meal, and the strange realization that loneliness and peace aren't the same thing. I wasn't lonely. I was finally free. My father called that night. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He didn't ask me to come over. He just said he was proud of me for standing up for myself, something he admitted he'd never learned to do. That mattered more than the gift. More than the apology. That was the real revenge. Not the bank reversal. Not the public post. But the moment they realized I was no longer available to be used. That access to me was a privilege, not a guarantee. I didn't lose my family that year. They lost control over me. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I had finally won. Being single or child-free does not make your money, time, or life public property. Silence. Please like, share and subscribe for more stories. Thank you.